Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my mommy vlog where I will be sharing all things mommy related. So in today's video, I just kind of want to have a little powwow with you guys. Baby girl just went down for her nap, so this is just like our little nap time chat. And the topic of the day, postpartum depression. So I felt the need to address this topic mainly because it's not really talked about a lot. So yes, since my daughter just turned 1, I basically was just kind of reflecting on everything that transpired within the past year, postpartum wise. And so I just want to talk about my experience with postpartum depression, and hopefully that, this helps some other moms who are, experiencing the same things right now. It does get better. So, a lot of people don't even know that they are experiencing postpartum depression. And because they don't know it, they don't seek out help, and then it gets worse. For me, within the first few days of my daughter's life, I knew something was not right. And I mean, there's a little bit of a background to it because 2 days before I gave birth to my daughter, my family experienced a devastating loss. And it really hit me really hard. And honestly, I think that that is one of the reasons why I ended up going into labor with my daughter, because I actually had her 3 weeks earlier than what I was supposed to have her. So going through that, experiencing that loss, and then 2 days later, I gave birth to my daughter. And I had to have a C-section. I've actually had a C-section with all of my kids. But yeah, I had to have a C-section. So while the rest of my family was at the funeral, paying their respects, I was home recovering from giving birth to my daughter. So me not being able to be there for my family during that time, that really affected me, so that kind of played into my depression as well. But I will say that the first couple of weeks of her life, to be honest with you, I'm going to even go as far as to say like the first 6 weeks of my daughter's life, I hardly remember anything during that time. Like, I remember bits and pieces only because we documented everything with pictures and videos. That is how bad it was for me. I was literally just going through the motions, basically. I just remember always crying and just feeling worthless. Like, it was very hard for me to focus on anything. It was extremely hard for me to just do normal day-to-day tasks. Like, I just felt like I couldn't do anything for myself. In addition to the postpartum depression, I also suffered from postpartum anxiety. And that is also something that is very common and that is not talked about. My anxiety after having my baby was really bad. I know that I didn't get much rest during the first 6 weeks of her life because I was just so anxious about something bad happening. Like, I just, it didn't feel real. It hadn't hit me like, oh my goodness, I had another baby and she's home with me. I felt like, is something bad gonna happen? Like, is this too good to be true? Something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. And so I didn't get much rest. I had to watch over her. she was never out of my sight. Even in the hospital, if they wanted to take her out of my hospital room for any reason, it brought me so much anxiety. I wasn't able to leave and go with her because I had had a C-section and I really couldn't get around as best as I probably would have wanted to, had I had a natural birth. So I used to send her dad, I didn't care where they were going. Oh, we're just going right here. I was like, she can't go until her dad comes. I had extreme anxiety over everything. And because I was suffering with that anxiety, that caused me to have mood swings. And the mood swings would be, sometimes it would just be like irritable. I would be very irritable and wouldn't want to talk to anybody. I was very withdrawn from my family. Really, the only thing that really gave me joy during that time was my baby. And I know that with some women with postpartum depression, they experience a withdrawal from their baby. Fortunately for me, I never really experienced a withdrawal from her. I will say that during the first couple of weeks of her life, I was so out of it mentally that I just kind of felt like I was just going through the motions. Like, I knew that I had responsibilities. Okay, it's time to feed the baby. Okay, it's time to change the baby. Okay, put the baby in her crib. Okay, get the baby out. But it was like I wasn't there. It was almost like a out of body experience. Like, my mind, I don't know where my mind was for the first 6 weeks of my daughter's life. I just, I don't know. And again, I just remember, crying a lot. And luckily for me, two things that really helped. Number one was getting help from my doctor, my OB, and number two was my support system. Without those two things, things could have possibly gotten a whole lot worse for me. So, I never was afraid to reach out for help. That is probably the best thing that you can do if you're watching this video right now and you are suffering from postpartum depression. You need to get help. I can't stress that enough, okay? There is no need for you to feel like you are less of a mother or that you're going to feel judged. Because listen, when we give birth to our babies, our bodies are going through so many different hormonal changes, okay? So sometimes this isn't something that we can control necessarily. So if it affects you, you need to just go ahead and get help. Reach out to your doctor, reach out to your family. I mean, that's what I did, and that is what helped me. So I reached out to my doctor and I just explained to her exactly how it was that I was feeling. I think I went to my doctor 2 weeks postpartum and I explained to her, listen, this is everything that I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. What is wrong with me? What's going on? Of course, I'm happy about giving birth. Like, it was a very exciting. I knew that I loved my daughter so much, and I knew that this was a happy time. However, I could not explain why I felt so sad all of the time. So my doctor was able to recognize the signs of postpartum depression, and we talked about my options and decided for me, in my case, it was best that I began medication, which I do feel like tremendously helped me. I don't feel like it was like, the next day after I took my medication, okay, I'm better. Like it definitely wasn't anything like that. It definitely took some time. In fact, around 6 weeks postpartum, my family experienced yet another devastating loss. And so it was just like, back to back. There was just way too many things going on. And I just couldn't process it all, being a new mom of a newborn baby and then experiencing these things, watching my family, fall apart emotionally. It was just really hard on me. And I would say that I probably scared. In fact, I know that I kind of scared my fiance because he'd never seen that side of me, that sad and depressed, side of me. So it kind of worried him a little bit. But he was an awesome, you know, support system for me. Um, and then on top of that, my mom was here with me probably for like the first month of my daughter's life. I had my mom here. And then when my mom left, my brother came. So those first 6 weeks, I definitely had someone here with me. I was never alone. I had someone here with me who was just, helping me with day to day tasks because everything was just so overwhelming for me. The only thing that brought me joy were, my children. Um, but I still felt, even though my children brought me so much joy, I still felt inadequate as their mother at the time. And that was just because of those hormones, that was that postpartum depression trying to take over. So yeah, it took probably, I would say, around about 6 months postpartum, I noticed that I felt a lot happier. I didn't feel sad all the time. However, my daughter just turned 1, and I am just now starting to feel like myself again. Like it took a long time just for me to even feel beautiful again. So much, my body went through so many changes after having my daughter. I literally just felt like worthless and that I wasn't beautiful. And I felt that way for a very, very long time. Again, like I said, she is 1, just turned 1. I'm just now starting to feel like myself again. I'm just now starting to feel, you know, back to me. I had never experienced postpartum depression before. With my boys, I did experience like a little baby blues, but it was nothing that I had to like take medication for or anything like that. So this was definitely something different for me. But one thing that I have really learned throughout this whole process is to not blame myself and to not feel ashamed to talk about it, because a lot of women go through this. A lot of women suffer from postpartum depression. And I'm not afraid to say that, yes, I suffered from postpartum depression. Yes, I got help. Yes, I had to get on medication for it. And, even to this day, although here I am a year later, and honestly, I feel so much better. I don't feel sad all the time and things like that, but I still am not 100% back to myself. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps up my story about my postpartum depression and anxiety. Again, the key points that I just want you guys to remember is that if you are experiencing something along the sorts of depression or anxiety after giving birth, don't forget to reach out for help. Really, really surround yourself with your support system. And remember, you are amazing, you are capable, and you got this. All right, guys, so if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to come along this journey called motherhood with me. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right.